Welcome to our deep dive into the origins of video games. Today we're exploring the early pioneers that paved the way for the gaming industry we know and love. Buckle up, because we're traveling back in time to an era before PlayStations, before cartridges, heck, even before the internet itself. Imagine a world without video games, no epic RPGs, no heart-stopping shooters, not even a simple game of Tetris to pass the time. It's almost unfathomable, isn't it? But in the early days of computing, video games as we know them were just a blip on the radar, a spark of innovation waiting to ignite a revolution. Join me as we unearth the stories of these visionary pioneers, the minds that dared to imagine playing games on screens. Get ready to uncover the fascinating journey from the very first pixel to the birth of an industry that would captivate generations to come. Our story begins not in a bustling arcade or a tech giant's headquarters, but in a place you might not expect, Brookhaven National Laboratory in 1958. Picture this. Amidst the beakers, Bunsen burners, and top-secret government projects, physicist William Higginbotham is about to change history, and he probably didn't even know it. Higginbotham, known for his work on the Manhattan Project, was also passionate about making science engaging. Frustrated with the boring exhibits at the lab's annual public open house, he decided to spice things up. Using his knowledge of oscilloscopes, those clunky machines with green screens displaying wavy lines, he created Tennis for Two. This wasn't your typical game of tennis. There were no fancy graphics, no colourful characters, just two lines representing paddles and a dot bouncing between them. But believe it or not, this rudimentary setup was revolutionary. Visitors lined up for hours to grab the controllers, two aluminum boxes with a knob and a button to experience the future of interactive entertainment. Imagine the thrill of seeing that little dot respond to your every input, the challenge of outmaneuvering your opponent all in real time. This was unheard of. Tennis for Two was a sensation, a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the simple joy of competition. But here's the catch. Higginbotham, brilliant as he was, didn't fully realize the groundbreaking potential of his creation. He saw it as a fun diversion, a way to educate the public about scientific principles. He never patented it, never tried to commercialize it. Can you imagine that? Having the golden ticket to the future of gaming and just leaving it on the table? And so, after its brief moment in the sun, Tennis for Two was dismantled. Its components repurposed for other scientific endeavors, but the seed had been planted. The world had tasted interactive entertainment, and it craved more. Fast forward a few years to the hallowed halls of MIT in 1962. A group of bright-eyed students huddled around a hulking PDP-1 mainframe computer, fueled by caffeine and a thirst for innovation. Among them was a young programmer named Steve Russell, the mastermind behind our next game-changer, Spacewar. Now remember, this was the era of room-sized computers and punch cards. The idea of dedicated gaming consoles was still a distant dream, but Russell and his team, inspired by the science fiction they loved, were determined to push the boundaries of what was possible. Spacewar put players in control of two sleek spaceships locked in a deadly duel amidst a starfield. But this wasn't just a mindless shoot-'em-up. Russell and his team incorporated realistic physics into the game, including gravity. That's right, your spaceship would be pulled towards the central star, adding a whole new layer of strategy to the combat. Word of this groundbreaking game spread like wildfire through the burgeoning computer science community. Universities and research labs across the country began installing Spacewar on their own PDP-1S, turning it into an early form of networked multiplayer gaming. Imagine the scene: dimly lit computer labs buzzing with activity, the glow of the vector displays illuminating the faces of players engrossed in interstellar battles. It was a glimpse into the future, a future where people would connect and compete through the power of digital worlds. But Spacewar wasn't just a technological marvel, it was a cultural phenomenon. It sparked imaginations, fostered a sense of community, and most importantly, it proved that there was a real desire for engaging, interactive experiences on computers. The stage was set, the audience was primed, and the gaming revolution was about to enter its next act. The year is 1972, the world is grooving to disco, bell-bottoms are all the rage, and a little company called Atari is about to unleash a phenomenon upon the unsuspecting public. Pong. Now, Pong wasn't exactly a technological marvel. In fact, it was a deliberate simplification of William Higginbotham's tennis for two. Two paddles, a dot, that familiar back-and-forth gameplay. But what Atari lacked in originality, they more than made up for in business savvy. Atari's founder, Nolan Bushnell, had a vision to bring the joy of video games to the masses. He saw the potential of arcades, those coin-operated entertainment hubs popping up everywhere, to become the perfect breeding ground for his video game revolution. The first Pong arcade cabinet was installed in a rather unglamorous location, Andy Capp's Tavern in Sunnyvale, California. But from that humble beginning, Pong exploded in popularity. People were lining up, quarters in hand, eager to experience the addictive simplicity of digital table tennis. There was something about Pong's straightforward gameplay that just clicked with people. It was easy to learn, difficult to master, and endlessly replayable. It was the perfect social game, pitting friends and strangers against each other in a battle for bragging rights. Pong's success was nothing short of meteoric. Atari couldn't manufacture cabinets fast enough to meet the demand. The game spawned countless imitators, kick-starting the golden age of arcade gaming. But more importantly, Pong proved that video games weren't just a fad. They were a viable business, a form of entertainment with mainstream appeal. The floodgates had opened and the world would never be the same. The video game industry was officially on the map, and it was about to level up in a big way. While Pong was busy conquering arcades, a parallel revolution was brewing in living rooms across America, thanks to the ingenuity of one man, Ralph Baer, the father of video games. Baer had a vision to bring the magic of video games into the comfort of people's homes. In 1972, that vision became a reality with the release of the Magnavox Odyssey, the world's first home video game console. Now, the Odyssey wasn't exactly a technological powerhouse. It used cartridges to switch between games, but these cartridges didn't actually contain game code. Instead, they acted like circuit boards, activating different display modes on the console. The games themselves were incredibly simple, even by the standards of the time. We're talking about basic games of ping pong, chase, and even a light gun game that required you to place plastic overlays on your TV screen. But, despite its limitations, the Odyssey was groundbreaking. It was the first time people could experience video games in their own homes, without the need for expensive mainframes or trips to the arcade. It was a glimpse into a future where gaming would become a ubiquitous form of entertainment. However, the Odyssey's success was somewhat overshadowed by the meteoric rise of Pong. Many people at the time saw the Odyssey as a more expensive, less exciting alternative to Atari's arcade smash hit. But the Odyssey's legacy is undeniable. It paved the way for future home consoles like the Atari 2600 and the Nintendo Entertainment System. Consoles that would shape the childhoods of millions and solidify video games as a dominant force in popular culture. The Odyssey may have been the first, but it certainly wasn't the last. The race to dominate the living room was on, and the world of video games was about to enter a whole new dimension. And there you have it. The fascinating journey from the very first interactive games to the birth of the commercial video game industry. Which of these pioneers do you think had the most impact? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more gaming history. From the rudimentary thrills of Tennis for Two to the arcade dominance of Pong and the groundbreaking home entertainment of the Magnavox Odyssey, these early pioneers dared to dream of a future where video games would captivate the world. And boy, were they right. So next time you boot up your favorite game, take a moment to appreciate the shoulders of giants you stand on. The legacy of these innovators lives on in every pixel, every line of code, every epic boss battle, and every moment of digital joy we experience. Until next time, stay curious, keep gaming, and remember, it's just a theory, a game theory.